はじめまして、バルサミコ・スティーブンと申します。ペンシルベニア州のピッツバーグ市のシェーラーエリア高校の教師です。よろしくお願いします。As far as why I decided to learn Japanese, it was actually kind of a matter of survival. I was an unemployed teacher and looking for a job, and just kind of randomly, I applied to become an English teacher in Japan. And I went there with no Japanese language ability, just kind of something different and for a job. And so I started learning Japanese just kind of to get through my daily life a little bit more easily and to enjoy my time there more. So that was kind of how I started my path on Japanese language. As far as why I became a Japanese teacher, that's also kind of, I fell into it. I came back from Japan with no job prospects, and I was engaged to be married, and I kind of had to find a job quickly. So I went to my local school district to apply for a social studies teaching position. When they looked at my resume, they saw that I'd lived in Japan for 4 years, and they were like, "Oh, do you speak Japanese?" Yes, I do. Our Japanese teacher is retiring, and we don't have anyone to replace her. You want to apply for the job? All right. And so I kind of just fell into it. It wasn't really my plan, but it's where I wound up, and I couldn't be happier for it. Yes, the main story that not really a story, but the most rewarding thing I found as a Japanese language learner comes from being a Japanese language teacher. As I had said, when I became a Japanese teacher, I kind of didn't think about the why. Why am I teaching Japanese? I was just looking for a job. And now that I've been doing it for about 10 years, I now have the opportunity for students that have graduated to come back and tell me about their experiences post high school. And every time I hear a student talk about how they were able to use Japanese in their job, or how Japanese helped them land a job, or a student told me about how they decided to get married in Japan and they used their Japanese skills there, or just students have come back and told me about how they've used Japanese post high school. And it's very rewarding. I get to see how important and how useful learning a language is beyond just the classroom setting that I'm in. And it makes me feel really happy that I decided first to learn Japanese myself and then to become a Japanese teacher. So that for me, the biggest reward is kind of tied to my job. I have a student who entered into a trading company post college, and they hadn't really used their Japanese since their time at my school. But when their boss found out that they had studied Japanese, their boss was just like, "Hey, can you help us work with this company in Japan, make it a little bit easier, a little bit more nicer? And we speak mostly English with them, but having some Japanese ability would be good." And from there, the student had really started refreshing their skills, and they were able to advance in their position. I had another student who ended up studying neuroscience at the University of Tokyo, which is pretty crazy. Let's see, some other students, let's see, I want to say I got about 10 students that ended up teaching in Japan through either JET program or other private companies. And they found that they enjoyed teaching so much that they eventually went on to become teachers. One student of mine actually became a lacrosse coach in Japan for a small school. It's very interesting. So it takes you in a lot of different avenues that you don't necessarily expect. I don't think the question to ask is what I struggle with, but it's rather what I don't struggle with. Among the foreign language teachers at my school, I'm infamous for being, well, a very poor language learner. I'm not very good at learning languages. I failed Spanish 3 years in a row in high school. Um, I'm not good at learning languages. Some people are, it comes easier to them than others. And as a teacher, I get to see, those students that just intuitively grasp it and those students that have to fight a little bit more for it. So for me, I don't think I could pin any one aspect of the language that's harder than others, because for me, it's in total very difficult to learn a language. However, on the flip side, I have found that by staying focused and by really putting in the work, I'm able to overcome those hurdles and slowly but surely learn Japanese. I tell students, if you have difficulty with this, I get it. I have difficulty too. So I'm able to kind of see where they're struggling and then see what I've done in the past. Well, my advice, suggestion, thoughts towards Japanese language learners is that in general, Japanese is hard. There is no doubt about it. Learning any new language is hard, but Japanese is very hard. I've met many students and many other people over the years who have said that Japanese is too difficult to learn, and they've given up before they even really started working at it. That's true, but at the same time, as I said, I'm not a good language student. I have a lot of trouble learning languages, yet through hard work and determination, I was able to acquire some mastery of this language and to even become a language teacher. So I am living proof that anyone can learn a language and that anyone can learn Japanese. If I can do it, you can do it. So no matter what circumstance, whether you're stuck learning Japanese online due to the current situation, whatever your situation is, whether you think kanji is just too difficult and it doesn't stick in your brain, whether you're too shy to really put in the conversation aspect of the language, you can still do it. It takes time, it takes work, but the rewards are well worth the effort. You have no idea what avenues learning Japanese will take you down. And to have that extra skill in your pocket, and not just a skill, but to have that joy of being able to say, I speak another language and I triumphed over the difficulties in learning this language, it is a wonderful personal reward. So that's my advice, is that just go for it, put in the effort, and never, ever feel intimidated.